The water is warm and it is only up to your knees. It is the end of a perfect day in the tropical north, and the sea in front of you is the color of glass. Children are laughing somewhere behind you. The sun is going down gold over the palms. It looks empty. It is not. Drifting toward you, no wider than a fingernail, is an animal you will never see. It makes no sound. It leaves no wake. By the time you feel it, the venom is already moving. And here, on this beach, on this exact stretch of sand, people fly across the world to stand on. It isn't even the worst thing in the water. That is the strange truth about Queensland. It looks like a holiday. It is built like a trap. People come here for the reef and the rainforest and the endless warm coast. What they don't realize is that the same water they swim in, the same paths they walk, the same backyards they let their kids play in, are shared with some of the most dangerous animals on the planet. Not far away in some untouched wilderness, right there, next to the towel, under the chair, in the shell your child just picked up. The comfortable thing to believe is that it's exaggerated. A few scary snakes, a few spiders, tourists are fine, and that's half true. Attacks are rare. Anti-venoms exist. Millions of people live an entire life here and never have a single serious incident. But that misses the real point. The danger in Queensland was never about rare encounters in far-off places. It's about constant closeness in ordinary ones. The deadliest things in this state don't live where you'd expect them. They don't wait at the edge of the map. They live where you already are, in the canal, in the woodpile, in the pretty rock pool at low tide. So this is a countdown. 13 animals that share Queensland with more than 5 million people, ranked not by how many they kill, but by how quietly they've learned to live beside us. We start with the one you already know. We end with the one locals refuse to go near. Number 13 begins at home. Look under the plastic chair on the back porch. Check the underside of the mailbox, the rim of a pot plant, the dark folded corner of the garden shed. That's where you'll find the redback, a small, dark spider with a single red stripe down its back, and one of the most commonly encountered venomous animals in the country. Its venom is neurotoxic, which means it targets the nervous system, and a serious bite can bring hours of spreading pain, heavy sweating, nausea, and misery that creeps out from the bite site across the whole body. Here's what makes it the right place to begin. The redback isn't a wilderness animal that you have to go looking for. It has chosen us. It thrives in sheds and letterboxes and outdoor furniture and the underside of anything left still for a week in the exact structures human beings build. You are more likely to meet it reaching for a pair of gardening gloves than on any hike. There is an effective anti-venom, and deaths today are extremely rare. So why does it open the list? Because it teaches you the rule that everything else here obeys. In Queensland, the danger isn't out there. It's domestic. It's within arm's reach of the back door. Learn that now, because the next animal doesn't stay on land, and it doesn't stay in the sea either. Subscribe now. We're counting all the way down to the one even locals won't go near. Number 12 is in the water, but not the water you're picturing. Forget the open sea for a moment. Picture instead a brown, slow-moving river well inland, or the still canal behind a quiet suburban housing estate, the kind with pontoons and kayaks tied up at the bottom of the garden. That water looks harmless. It is home to the bull shark, a heavy, blunt-nosed, thickly built predator with an ability almost no other large shark shares. It tolerates fresh water. It pushes miles up rivers, deep into estuaries, and straight into the artificial canals people dig behind their own houses. That's what makes it so unsettling. Most shark fear lives out at the beach, past the breakers, where you at least expect it. The bull shark quietly moves that danger inland into murky, low-visibility brown water where nothing can be seen coming and where almost nobody thinks to be afraid. A kid bombing off a jetty, a dog paddling after a stick in a canal at dusk. It hunts best exactly where the water is cloudiest and people feel safest. There's a reason old-timers on the tropical rivers tell newcomers to never clean fish off the back steps of a house that backs onto the water, and to never let a dog swim at dusk where a creek meets the sea. They're not being superstitious. They've simply watched this animal turn up again and again in the last place anyone expected it. It doesn't need the ocean to reach you. It just follows the river home. And the water, as it turns out, isn't even where Queensland gets strange. Number 11, walks. On the edge of the wet tropics, where the rainforest meets the road, there's a yellow sign warning drivers to slow down for an animal most visitors don't take seriously, right up until one steps out of the trees in front of them. The cassowary is a flightless bird that can stand as tall as a grown adult, with a heavy body, blue skin, a bony helmet, and legs like something that walked out of the age of dinosaurs. On the inside toe of each foot is a single dagger-shaped claw that can grow the length of a finger. It doesn't want to fight. Most of the time, it wants to be left completely alone. But a cassowary that feels cornered, or is protecting chicks, can kick with astonishing force, and that inner claw can cause terrible wounds. The danger, once again, is proximity. As rainforest is cleared and houses push right up to the forest edge, birds and people are funneled onto the same narrow strip of green. And the moment people start feeding them, deliberately or just by leaving food scraps out, a shy giant learns to walk straight up to the next human it sees. There are stretches of road in the far north where you're warned that a bird can do more damage to you than the traffic, and locals mean it. At least, with the cassowary, you can see it coming. The next one, you won't. Number 10, doesn't run. Almost every snake on Earth, the instant it senses your footsteps, does the same thing. It leaves. The common death adder does the exact opposite. It stays. It works itself down into leaf litter or loose sand until only its eyes break the surface, arranges itself into perfect camouflage, and it waits, sometimes for days on end, for something warm to wander close enough. Then it strikes, and that strike is among the fastest ever measured in any snake. Think about what that actually means on a Sunday bushwalk. The threat isn't a snake fleeing dramatically across the track in front of you where you'd see it. The threat is the track itself. The ordinary pile of dead leaves you step over without a second glance, 100 times a day, without ever looking down. Its venom works on the nervous system and, untreated, can shut the body down. Worse still, because it never flees, people walk past the same hidden adder day after day and never know it was there, until the one afternoon a bare foot lands an inch too close. And here is the unsettling part. It is not even the most venomous thing you might put your bare foot on in this state. Number 9 is a rock, right up until it isn't. Out on the reef flat, in the shallow sunlit water where families wade out at low tide with buckets and reef shoes, there sits what looks like an ordinary encrusted, weed-covered stone. Rest your weight on it to steady yourself, and you'll discover it isn't a stone at all. It's the reef stonefish, widely considered the most venomous fish in the world. Its back carries a row of stiff, upright spines, and those spines can punch venom straight up through the thin rubber sole of a reef shoe as if it wasn't there. The pain is described by those who've survived it as some of the worst a human body can register, enough to make grown adults beg for the affected limb to be taken off. And the true horror of it is how passive it is. You are not hunted, you are not chased. You simply place your foot in the wrong spot on a stunning tropical reef, on precisely the kind of afternoon people save for years to experience. The reef looks like the safest, most beautiful place on Earth. It has worse than the stonefish still to come, and the worst thing is even prettier. Number 8 fits in the palm of a child's hand. A kid walks along the tide line, crouches, and picks up a shell, glossy, intricately patterned, easily the most beautiful one on the whole beach. It goes straight in the bucket, or the pocket. Except this isn't an empty shell, it's a living cone snail, and folded inside that gorgeous coil is a hunter. It fires a tiny, venom-loaded harpoon, a single modified tooth, fast enough to stun and reel in small fish. In the larger cone species, that same venom can be seriously dangerous, even deadly, to a human being. And there is no anti-venom. None. That's the quiet cruelty of number 8. Everything about it whispers, "Collect me." Nothing about it says, "Predator." A person can be stung simply by holding it, admiring it, turning it over to see the pattern. There's no cure to reach for, only supportive care in a hospital while the body fights the toxin alone. It works slowly, over hours, which is its own kind of terror, long enough to know exactly what is happening to you. Picture the drive back from the beach with a shell still rattling in a bucket in the boot, and no one in the car aware that anything is wrong yet. And the next animal on this list can kill before you even feel the bite. Number 7 lives where you live. The woodpile stacked against the back fence, the dark gap under the raised farmhouse, the dry, sun-cured grass at the edge of the school oval. That is the home range of the eastern brown snake, by some measures among the most venomous land snakes in the world, and involved in a large share of Australia's most serious snake bites. It's fast, it's easily startled, and unlike a shy rainforest species, it is completely comfortable living right up against people, drawn in by the mice and rats that gather wherever humans store food. That's the entire story of Queensland compressed into a single animal. The brown snake isn't dangerous because it's cruel or hunts people. Cornered, it mostly just wants a way out. It's dangerous because its world and our world are the exact same square meter of warm, dry grass by the shed. Step wrong, reach blind into the wrong pile of wood, hang the washing in bare feet on a warm evening, and you've closed a distance that was never really there to begin with. Ask anyone who grew up on a Queensland property and they'll tell you the same thing. You learn young to stamp your feet, to never put a hand where you can't see, to keep the grass low around the house. A whole quiet grammar of survival most city visitors never even think about. But at least a snake is a shape a human brain instantly recognizes. The next one on this list doesn't even look like an animal. If this is already making you look twice at the water, subscribe, because the top 5 are so much worse. Number 6 flashes a warning that almost nobody heeds in time. At low tide, in the very rock pools children are handed to go and explore, sits a small octopus no bigger than a golf ball. Most people, if they noticed it at all, would call it cute. Provoke it, crowd it, pick it up, and rings of electric, iridescent blue flare to life all over its body. That is the blue-ringed octopus, and that gorgeous light show is one of the most dangerous displays on the entire shoreline. It isn't an invitation, it's the last warning it gives. Its venom is a tetrodotoxin, a paralyzing agent for which there is no antivenom anywhere in the world. The bite itself can be so small and so painless that a person may have no idea they've even been bitten until their lips start to numb and their limbs stop answering. It is tiny. It is gentle looking. It hides in exactly the sunlit tide pools we consider the safe, shallow family end of the sea. And the deeper you go into Queensland's water from here, the less you will ever see the danger coming at all. Number 5 stands its ground. Up in the cane country and the tropical grasslands of the far north lives the coastal taipan, a long, athletic, powerful snake carrying some of the longest fangs of any Australian species and an enormous load of extremely potent venom. Where most snakes will always choose retreat, a taipan that feels trapped can turn, hold its ground, and strike again and again in a blur, driving venom deep with every hit. Before a specific antivenom existed, a serious bite from this snake was very nearly a guaranteed death sentence, and it earned a fearsome reputation across the tropical north long before anyone understood the chemistry of what it carried. For generations of cane cutters working bent double through dense green stalks with a blade, this snake was the invisible tax on the job. The reason you watched every footfall and never reached into shadow. It lives close to farmland, close to the work people actually do, close to the places where cane is cut, where machinery pushes through tall grass, where a worker's boot and a hidden snake end up in the same patch at the same second. And from here on, everything left on this list is in the water where people actually swim. Number 4 is almost completely invisible. In the warm months, in the calm, sun-warmed shallows of the tropical north, something drifts through the water about a centimeter across, nearly transparent, effectively impossible to spot, even when you know to look. It's the irukandji, one of the smallest jellyfish in the world and one of the most feared things in the sea. Its sting can trigger what's known as irukandji syndrome, that is, a delayed cascade of symptoms that can hit anywhere from 5 minutes to an hour after the sting. waves of crushing pain through the back and limbs, violent nausea, a soaring heart rate, and, chillingly, an overwhelming sense of impending doom, with a dangerous strain placed on the heart in the worst cases. That delay is the real nightmare of it. You get stung, and at first it is almost nothing, a faint sting, easily ignored, so you keep swimming. You come in, you dry off, you're reaching for a drink. And only then, well up on the safe dry sand, does your own body begin to turn against you from something you never saw, in water that looked completely, perfectly safe, and its far bigger cousin doesn't wait a single minute. Number 3 patrols the open blue, out past the reef flat, in the deeper open coastal water where divers descend and swimmers push out beyond the flags, moves the tiger shark. A large, heavy shark that earned its reputation for the simplest reason imaginable. Of all the big sharks, it has the least particular appetite. It investigates, it tests things with its mouth because that's how it reads the world, and it is powerful enough that a single mistake, a single moment of curiosity aimed at the wrong shape on the surface, can be fatal. This is not the river shark from earlier in the countdown. This is the open water apex, cruising the very reefs and beaches that pull travelers from every corner of the planet. And it needs to be said plainly, genuine attacks are rare, far rarer than the fear or the movies suggest, and the shark is not a monster hunting people. But rare is not the same as never, and out there in the blue, drifting on the surface in a wetsuit at dawn, a dark shape against a bright sky, you are simply not at the top of the food chain anymore, and for a few seconds to something looking up from below, you might not even look that different from its usual prey. And yet, the animal Queenslanders truly fear at the beach isn't a shark at all. Number 2 you will not see until it is already on you. Back in the warm, swimming shallows, in the exact same season as the Irukandji, drifts a far larger and far more lethal threat. Pale, glassy, near transparent, with fine tentacles that can trail for several meters behind a body the size of a basketball. This is the box jellyfish, regarded as among the most venomous marine animals on Earth. A serious sting delivers venom fast enough to send a human body straight into shock, and in the very worst cases can stop the heart within minutes, sometimes before the person can even make it back to the sand. This is why so many northern beaches have bottles of vinegar bolted to posts along the walkways and netted stinger enclosures pegged out in the water through the warm season. This is why locals watch the calendar as closely as they watch the sky, and why they'll pull children back from water that looks flawless. It is beautiful. It is utterly silent, and against the bright dancing light of the shallows, it is effectively invisible. No warning, no sound, sometimes barely any pain at all in the first instant. Ask a lifeguard on a far north beach what keeps them up at night, and it isn't the sharks everyone films from helicopters. It's this, the thing you can walk right into without ever seeing it, in water no deeper than a child's chest, and still, there is one animal that Queenslanders won't even share the water's edge with. Number 1 is the reason all the signs exist. At the mangrove river mouth, at the quiet boat ramp at first light, at the still, brown, mirror-flat estuary where a battered hand-painted sign warns you plainly not to swim, that is where you'll find the saltwater crocodile, the largest living reptile on the planet, and about the closest thing this coast has to a perfect predator. It can hold itself motionless for hours. And most disturbingly of all, it learns. It studies the rhythm of people, where they fish, where they clean their catch, where they launch the boat, where they come down to the water's edge at the same hour every single day. That patience is what earns it the very top of this list. It doesn't hunt like anything else here. It doesn't rush. It doesn't chase across open ground. It waits, and it watches, and it remembers. A big saltwater crocodile can lie completely still in murky water, indistinguishable from a floating log, for as long as it takes, and then cross the gap faster than anything that size has any right to move. This is the one animal locals genuinely, absolutely will not go near. In the far north, you do not swim in unfamiliar water. You do not stand at the edge of a still river at dawn or dusk. You do not clean fish at the same ramp 2 days running, not because it happens often, but because when it does, there is no warning, no struggle you can win, and no second chance. And that brings us all the way back to the family standing in the warm shallows at the very start, on the perfect day, in water that looked completely empty. Because the real point of all of this was never the animals themselves. It's the place. Queensland is the clearest example anywhere on Earth of a paradise that runs like a trap. Reef, rainforest, river, and backyard. Every one of them quietly stocked with things built to end you, and every one of them sharing the exact ground that more than 5 million people swim and camp and drive and garden on every single day. Think about what that really means. The snake in the woodpile, the shell in the shallows, the log that isn't a log, the centimeter of drifting glass in the warm water. None of it is an accident, and none of it is going anywhere. This is simply what the place is. And yet, the beaches are full. The rivers have kids jumping off the pontoons. The backyards have bare feet in the grass at dusk. And the most remarkable thing, in the end, isn't the danger at all. It's how completely, how casually, people live on top of it. They read the seasons. They watch the water. They know which rivers to skip, which months to stay out of the sea, which pretty shells to leave exactly where they lie, and they hand that knowledge down to their kids the way other places hand down the weather. The animals didn't turn Queensland into a trap. They were simply already here, perfectly at home, and they never left when we arrived. So the real question was never whether Queensland is dangerous. It clearly, undeniably is. The question is how millions of people move through every part of it, every single day. The water, the grass, the reef, the backyard, and barely even look down. Next, we leave the coast behind entirely and walk out into the outback, where the danger doesn't need water at all. Subscribe and come with us.